I was saying that this season, kind of the rule book now at this point is very set in what our world is. But now that everyone knows, you can kind of set that aside and now do anything because zombies are a real thing. They exist. They're out in the world. It's a known fact. And at this point, you're either pro-zombie, pro-human. I think, someone like a Peyton, someone like a Ravi, I think that they can see both sides of the story. I think obviously they're pro-zombie because they happen to have a friend that they deeply care about that is a zombie. But at the same time, I think they understand that humans aren't always going to be accepting to something like this that's so life-changing. And that some people are truly at risk because there are going to be violent zombies out there that are not going to safely get brains. They will kill someone innocently just to feed. And so, I think that's a lot of I think that's a lot of emotion that's weighing on Peyton when we come into this next season, a few months in, where this massacre has obviously happened and people are now adjusting to life afterwards. And she's obviously someone that has to adjust to it just as much as anyone else, even though she's obviously known that zombies exist for a while now.
Now that Peyton broke up with Leia, obviously, and then Ravi's former SDCC, she went away. Is Peyton going to get back together with Ravi? Is it going to be a thing again?
I mean, I always am curious about that because I love the Ravi and Peyton relationship, and me and Raul get along really well on set and have fun shooting scenes together. I think that door is not closed. I've been told at least it's not completely closed. I think the Peyton Blaine storyline, I think that's done. I think that there's definitely a regret in Peyton for letting herself get that involved in Blaine. And I think that she wouldn't want to make that mistake again. So I think her heart is closed off to someone like Blaine, but I think that it's still it has an opening for Ravi, and there's a possibility that he can get in there again.
So now that Peyton's working for Miraculous as staff,
Yeah.
is she still keeping an eye on her?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this new job has really heightened her situation when it comes to the kind of power and the kind of information she's going to be getting, because of being his right hand man in a sense. She'll be able to obviously reiterate the things that she hears from him back to Liv. She's also going to be kind of balancing not only that job but also working as a prosecutor because so many people have fled Seattle to get out before the walls ended up coming up around the city, that no one's really left to deal with cases. So she's kind of now all of a sudden put up on the stand to actually figure out, okay, was this human zombie, murder actually a legitimate crime, or was this a hate crime? And I think that it's really interesting because we're touching on a lot of commentary that we're dealing with right now as a country through the show. I mean, obviously sci-fi has always been famous for talking about what's happening in our own society, but I really love that this season we're really leaning into that, and you're going to see a lot of that happen in these cases, and her having to decide, who's truly guilty.
So Peyton's going to be instrumental in how this new Seattle the laws.
I think that she'll be working with Baracus when it comes to some of the laws that are passed, but most of the time you're going to see her, as a prosecutor, which is crazy because, she was just an assistant DA at the very beginning of season 1. So she's obviously skipped quite a few steps, and I think she'll be thrown into that in a way that'll be very overwhelming for her.
And I mean, her family, with Major and with Liv, how is Peyton going to get into that dynamic with her family and their other?
Totally. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I think now that Major, is back to being a zombie and that's the life he wants to lead, she's now not only lost one friend to this, but two. And she's lost her second friend, Major, to, a fanatical guy like a Chase Graves, who has such strong opinions on the zombie society. And so I think she'll be really torn between needing to defend the rights of the humans, but also feeling inclined to defend the rights of the zombies as well. She's kind of stuck in the middle.